A very good morning to all my dear friends. I am Prashant Mavani. I hope you all are doing good. Today is 2nd September 2020. I would like to start today's discussion with very important quote by J.K. Rowling. Anything's possible if you have got enough nerve. Nerve here means courage. The more courageous you are, the bigger dream you will see for yourself. And if you cannot create a picture in your head, if you cannot think big about yourself, then you're not going to achieve anything. The bigger your dream, the more you will work for it. Of course, just dreaming is not enough. You have to work for it. But the seed is in that idea or in that dream. So for that as well, you need nerve or courage. With this, dear friends, StudyIQ team has designed a smart course. This smart course is for Civil Services Examination. It covers your pre as well as mains examination, and to find out more about it, all you have to do is download our mobile application. Mind you, till 10th September 2020, EMI option is also available. On our table, we have 6 important articles to go through. You can download the PDF of today's lecture from my Telegram channel. You can follow me on Facebook as well. Now, the first 2 articles, the first one is called Young Masters. It's from Indian Express. The next one is from the Hindu newspaper. The reason why we are finding this articles related with chess is because India won joint gold medal with Russia. We shared this gold medal with Russia, and I'm talking about this latest chess Olympiad, and that is a landmark moment for both nations, Russia and India. A form of chess was always there in our country. It was known as Chaturang. Or I think from this chaturang we got this word shatranj. I'm not sure, but I think this is my educational guess. What do you think about it? That's a question from me to you guys. Do you think there is a relationship between chaturang and shatranj? Let me know in the comment section. I have one question for you as well. Right? When it comes to chess, we have one World Chess Governing Body. Can you give me the name of this body, World Chess Governing Body? What is the name of that body? Stick your answer in the comment section. Now, so a chaturang or a type of, shatranj was always there. It was part of our country. I'll give you one example, Mahabharat. This famous incident where this Pandu brothers, they lost everything in this game of it was something similar to an indigenous version of chess, and it was found in Darbar. That means a sort of parliament, like we used to be in monarchy. So kings and relatives and ministers, they used to play it, and it was also found on the street side. So it was not a game that was just famous with the top of the pyramid or kings and queens or royalty, but it was also famous with normal people. When I say normal, I mean to say that citizens or commoners. So it was part of state as well as it was part of a society. Then we got this formalized Western chess, and it took a bit of time to come here in our country, and it took even more time for India to get used to with it, and all our progress in chess has been incremental. That means step by step we got better and better with it, and we have some role models like Vishwanathan Anand. The first person, in fact, was not Vishwanathan Anand. I'm not sure how many of you are aware about this fact, but very interesting fact that back in 1961, Emmanuel Aron became India's first international master. So he was the first person. Of course, the most famous one is Vishwanathan Anand. He became first Grand Master, but that after 26 years, after 1961. So it took, ages for India to come out with Vishwanathan Anand. And this indicates that we don't have that great ecosystem, right? Or we were not having that great ecosystem back then. Around 2000, Anand became first world champion from India. And chess is a very interesting game. Your career is a very long career, right? It's not like other sports where you get injuries and then you get weak with it. This is all about, it's a sort of mind game, so you get better and better with it. But Of course, there are people who are young and they come with their own new way of doing things and new style of playing chess, so it's not that easy. Lockdown has been a boon for this game of chess. We find chess boom in our country, and this is the right time. We can take it to a next level. The reason I believe that chess has good potential in our country is because, see, there are so many countries where you find people coming from different parts, like Russia, right? It is very famous for chess, and they have their own local tournaments. It's more professional compared to our country. The problem with our country is that, when it comes to chess, the problem is that you can learn chess from someone who knows how to play chess. But there are very few clubs in our country, or there are very few organizations in our country who will train you for professional chess. Playing chess is a different thing. Playing professionally is a different thing. And we have one more article to go through. But before that, please make sure that you share this lecture with other students. Hit the like button if you have learned something from today's discussion. And please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Now, Chess Olympiad is very prestigious, and its history stretches to 1924. India's growing stature in the world chess and of the mind sports rising popularity in country, and particularly during this lockdown and after that as well, chess. As I told you, we have this chess boom in our country, and we can make most out of it. We have leaders like Vishwanathan Anand and Koneru Hampi, and we have upcoming stars like Nihal and R. Pragnanda. So they are tomorrow's star. Unfortunately, no chess player has won an Arjun Award for 7 years, and this is very sad. This is coming from Indian captain. He said that his name is Vidit Gujarati, and Indian captain said that the team was left on its own. There was no support from All India Chess Federation. That is very sad. Then we find federation officials. They were in tussle with each other, power tussle, and this is something very common with, I think, with every sport, every game, right? I don't know why we have this sort of people. They are part of this top ecosystem. We don't have that great ecosystem, but the ecosystem that we have, we find this sort of people who are always engaged with this ego issue, and they're fighting with each other, and they want to play someone else, and there is corruption or nepotism, and all these things are going on. And I'm not just talking about chess. I'm talking about overall sports environment is not that great. I see so many players. I know one of my childhood friend, right? He loves basketball. He lives basketball, or he used to live basketball, but he left it because no opportunity I'm talking about a national player here. So you can imagine that we are limited with few things or few sports or games only, and that is very sad. They announced, this federation officials announced 2 separate teams. Can you believe this thing? And so basically, this is the time for introspection. This boom period is going on. Chess is getting more and more famous. Our players are doing quite well. We've just won this gold medal in Chess Olympiad. So this is the right time for us to introspect. And I think we need to introspect each and every sport and game in our country. Then we have an article, in Kashmir, still a long way to go. This article is written by M.K. Narayan. He's a former National Security Advisor and a former governor of West Bengal. Now, dear friends, you know the history of Article 370 and 35A, so I'm not going into the details of this thing because this is not a new thing. Just a few weeks ago, there was this first anniversary of this removal of Article 370 and 35A, and we have talked about it 2-3 days, I think, or more than that, in the month of August 2020. Now, when these articles were removed, central government assured the nation as well as the people of the state, or to be precise, people of Jammu and Kashmir Union Territory as well as Ladakh Union Territory, but particularly Jammu and Kashmir Union Territory, which is here as you can see on your screen. So, right, this is Jammu and Kashmir Union Territory, and this green portion here, this is Ladakh. So, government said that things will be all right, and this will make this decision, this removal of Article 370 and 35A will integrate this union territory or people of this union territory with the government or with the rest of India. Here, the government's opinion is not about. It's not means when the government is saying that this region will get integrated with. I'm talking about Amit Shah. I think he said this thing. So anyway, here integration means political integration. And of course, China and Pakistan, they are not happy with this decision. And it is also said that this is one of the main reason why China is misbehaving with us, because Amit Shah said in the parliament that we will sort out one day in future, we will sort out Aksai Chin issue as well. So this is Aksai Chin here, and he also said, he talked about this thing that we are going to get it back one day. So this is one reason, one trigger for China. And then you have this China-Pakistan economic corridor. So that is second thing why China is not happy with this Article 370 and 35A removal. The move on Jammu and Kashmir was unexpected. Right, it was all of a sudden, out of the blue, and this is the main reason why it got successful. And before that, I still remember what government did, or central government transferred a huge amount of personnel here in the region, and after that, this was declared. So things were kept under control. Now, ruling party spokesman, that is BJP spokesman said that this is going to be end of this anomaly, and that basically means this stress or the pain is going to end now. This decision is going to bring peace and progress and prosperity in Kashmir, economic and job opportunities, enlarged economic and job opportunities or economic prosperity will take place in Jammu and Kashmir, reduction in levels of terrorist violence, and closer integration with the rest of India. To be honest, things are still work in progress. We cannot say that in 1 year we have achieved everything. We are still at the very introductory level, because we need proper political debate on this thing, and this is a long-term thing. This is not just removing one article is a different thing, and making that change in society, or to manifest that thing in society, that's a long as well as arduous task, because we know the situation of Jammu and Kashmir, or the 30-40 years history of Jammu and Kashmir. The only good thing is that this terrorists and terrorist organizations are being hunted and the terrorists are eliminated. So that is the only silver lining. Levels of violence continue to remain high in various different parts of Jammu and Kashmir. Many senior political leaders are kept under house arrest, and some of them are released, some of them are still under house arrest. Now, this is my personal opinion. Some of them, we need to keep them under house arrest, because if you go through their statesmen, they have been very aggressive. They have said many things, and that has also created violence in Jammu and Kashmir. So sometimes you have to capture and lock the leader for time being, so that you don't find any sort of negative violence or revolution in your particular region. This is how it works. This is statecraft. So a few of them, yes, it's okay to keep them behind the bars for a bit of time. That's what I think. But I strongly believe that you cannot keep them behind the bars, or you cannot house arrest them forever. You have to create a situation where you have to have a word with those people, right? You have to, they are stakeholder as well. Whether you like it or not, they are stakeholder when it comes to Jammu and Kashmir, political future as well as present of Jammu and Kashmir. So you have to engage with them. You have to have discussion with them. Now, big problem faced by youngsters and students accessing information. Right, this 2G services were available, but 4G services were stopped in Jammu and Kashmir, and this has created a huge amount of issue for people of Jammu, particularly youngsters. They faced so many challenges because of lack of access to high-speed internet connection. State government's announcement in May this year to notify the Jammu and Kashmir grant of domicile certificate procedure rules 2020, and how it works is this new rule will allow outsiders, or if you are not from Jammu and Kashmir, then as well you can apply for domicile certificates. You can settle in the state, you can acquire property, and you can also apply for jobs. So people are a bit worried about, or local businesses, they are worried that manufacturing, because manufacturing in Jammu and Kashmir is expensive, because you are in terms of territory or in terms of your topography, right? Hilly region, you need more fuel, more energy to produce something. So land is expensive. So this will make manufacturing expensive. So it's quite natural that things will start coming from different parts of our country, and they believe that this will destroy their market. That's what they are saying. So we need to take that thing into consideration as well. There are sizable pockets of radical Islamist influence present in Kashmir today, and we need to get rid of those institutions. But for that, you cannot use bullets, right? You can beat ideology with ideology only. You have to change their ideology. You have to change their mindset. For that, you have to produce some good, positive results. It would be wise for leaders in Delhi to be careful not to view immediate dividends as representing a new dawn, and should instead pause to try and ascertain what lies beyond the horizon. So far, things are good, right? But they are not enough. To make them enough, or to sort out everything, we have to think about long term, right? We have to design a strategy that will create a lasting peace, development, and growth in Jammu and Kashmir. This one is a very interesting article, very important article as well, and it is about treating data as commons. Commons means things that belong to all of us, like roads, right? Roads are there for every one of us. If you are living in a city, if you are living in a town or village, if you are a student or if you are a businessman, every one of us, right, we use roads, and they are commons. Same thing goes with water, same thing goes with air, and there are so many other things. So in this industrial age infrastructure or industrial age, this roads are, or they were, a new thing. Just imagine going back to 250 years ago, or nearly 300 years ago, roughly speaking. If you go back then, but the most important thing that you need, once you produce something, then you want that item to be sold to various different parts of your country or various different parts of your city. So for that you need transportation, and for that you need roads. In today's world, data is a sort of road, and that's the reason why this latest experts, they are saying that this data is a sort of new oil. Data is that important. So in digital economy, society's road, or a thing that connects each other, is data. Now here, the data that we are talking about, this Gopal Krishna committee was formed by central government, and the main job of this committee is to ensure wide sharing and availability of data in society. So what sort of data we are talking about? Remember, when it comes to Gopal Krishnan committee, it is about known personal data. So what exactly is known personal data? I'll give you a brief example, a rough example to be precise, and then I want you guys to think about it. You will find so many things or so many items associated with known personal data. For example, if you're living in a city, then traffic jams, right, are big problems as well as opportunities as well. Traffic jam is a big opportunity for people who are selling things on roadside. Traffic jams are big opportunities for radio people, or this radio industry and marketing industry. They when you are getting bored, they will play a song. When you are feeling okay, they will put one, what do we say, advertisement. So few rough examples. So if you have proper data of people's traveling time, peak hours, non-peak hours, and other things associated with traffic. So here we are not talking about any particular car or any particular person. We are talking about in general public. So we are not collecting data of individuals. We are just collecting data of cars and motorcycles that are present in a city at any given point of time. So this data can be used. This is people's data, right? All of us are part of it. All of us are associated with it directly or indirectly. So it should benefit us. It should be used for, it should be used for better traffic management. And this thing can be used by, pollution control agencies. It can be used by marketing people, for business people, right? They can purchase it from government, or it can be shared. We can do this thing. So this will help every one of us. So this is non-personal data. And to ensure that companies share the required data, it was found necessary to develop strong conceptual as well as legal basis for data sharing requirements and obligations. Of course, you need to create rules and regulations if you want to get data. Without rules and regulations, you cannot do anything. Isn't it simple as that? Now, the digital age came with useful digital services that everyone lapped up. We are using so many things, right? They are all possible because of these digital platforms. The problem with today's world is that we have very limited companies. Out of top 10 companies of the world, you'll find 7 of them are data-centric companies. And what they are doing is they are producing, they are collecting data, they are giving us a platform. All of us, they provide us entertainment and other things. So we share our data directly, indirectly with them, and they are using this data, creating advertisements. So they are making money. So this is vertical integration. I'll give you one rough example of vertical integration. Let's talk about McDonald's, right? So they have this, not full, but they have a sort of vertical integration. So they will grow potatoes, they will process these potatoes, they will make fries out of these potatoes, and they will sell it to the customer. So every process is part of McDonald's group. Rather than buying potatoes from someone else, they will lease this agricultural land, and then they will use their own transportation. They will use their own trucks, they will use their own transportation, they will use their own chains and stores to sell their items. So this is vertical integration. I hope things are clear to you. So that's what these companies are doing. They are the ones who are creating platforms. They are collecting data, selling data, processing data, using data, and then again they are gathering more and more wealth. What is needed, however, is to treat data as infrastructure or commons, so that data are widely available for all businesses. When few businesses, they control everything, they are not allowing so many startups to take birth, and startups cannot survive. If they find a potential in a startup, they will purchase it and they will keep it with them. For example, Facebook acquiring WhatsApp. Community ownership means that the data should be shared back with all those who need it in society, whether to develop domestic digital businesses or for producing important digital public goods. With a robust domestic data or AI industry, dependence on US and Chinese companies will reduce. What is happening is that these two nations, they have these servers and they are storing everything. So nearly the whole world is dependent on them, and they are using our data. So if we decentralize everything in our own country, then we don't have to we don't have to be dependent on these two nations. Data collectors are considered as data custodians. So here we find some suggestions from Gopal Krishnan committee. So we can create one data collectors. They will act as data custodians. Data trusts are data infrastructures that will enable data sharing sector-wise or across sectors, and which can be run by various kinds of third-party bodies. And we need a non-personal data authority to keep an eye on everything. We are the first nation to come out with this sort of comprehensive framework in this area, and we should be proud of it, and we should refine it further and implement it in our country. disruption and chalking out a new idea for education. Now, we all know that schools and colleges, they are nearly destroyed because of this COVID-19 lockdown. The thing is that the only survival or source of money for this schools and colleges is the fees, right? Annual fees that they collect from students. But at present, they are not getting incoming revenue is zero. Outgoing expenses are quite high. You have building, then you have other expenses. You have to pay to your teachers or your staff. Many schools and colleges, they are trying to conduct lectures online, but that is very expensive for them. They don't have that setup, and not everyone is good with digital education. There are few teachers, right? They are not good with digital, but if you are present in their physical class, if you are there in their traditional class, then you will be in the best place in the world, right? You will learn each and everything. But it's not necessary that someone who is doing good with traditional classes are good with digital. And same thing for, or vice versa, right? It's not always that those who are good with digital education, they are also good with. You cannot stand them. Many of them, anyway, I'm not going to into details of all those things. Okay. So the problem with our country, or means not just our country, but so many schools around the world, because we have so many private schools in our country, the problem is that they don't have any fund with them. And if you see Western world, or if you see developed countries like Harvard University, they have some $40 billion. $40 billion with just one university, Harvard. And top 10 universities, they have $10 billion to $40 billion with them. So they use it for PhD research and so many other things. But they can use it for survival, but we don't have anything like that for our schools and colleges, private schools and colleges to be precise. So what we can do is, of course, central government and state governments can provide soft loans to students so that they can stay with education course. In an education setup in India, nothing can be reduced. You cannot get rid of your building, you cannot get rid of your teachers, because then you will not find them again. They will not come with you and work with you if you leave them in this tough situation. So yes, we need a mix of both. We need to find a middle ground. Mix of both means 50-50. For now, you can do whatever you can with digital education. Once things are normal, then you need to have both. Right, traditional, and I'm talking about schools and colleges, not competitive exams, to be precise, because school and colleges, these days are when you learn so many things from your classmates, from the overall environment. So that is very important for our overall development as human beings, as part of society. So we can have 50% traditional way of learning, and then we can add cutting edge whatever we have learned using digital technology. One thing that we cannot accept even today in our country, there are people, they will always think negative about those education institutions who work in a corporate fashion, right? Corporate is not all bad, right? We have companies like Tata, you see the way they work. They are so ethical. As far as I know, they are very ethical people to work with. So corporate is always not bad, right? It's not like corporate is this politics and other things are going on in it. No, it's not like that. It all depends on your company's culture and structure. The other thing that I would like to add here is that if we can create corporate institutes that can work like corporates, then they will create financial sustainability, and they will, if we have this sort of tough time, they will have some sort of planning so that we don't lose our education institutions. And at the end of the day, it will help our kids. Moving on to last item of the day, Pakistan-Saudi clash. Things are not going on very well between Pakistan and Saudi Arabia. Shah Mahmoud Qureshi was very blunt, and his public statement has hurt the sentiments of Saudi royalty, right? He said Pakistan was pushing Saudi Arabia to conduct a meeting on Kashmir in OIC, and Saudi Arabia was not happy with or didn't. So this triggered Pakistan, and then Pakistan was a bit blunt, and now things are not going on that well between these two nations. To control the damage, Pakistan sent its army chief as well as inter-service intelligence chief to Saudi Arabia, but things are not sorted yet. So this is an opportunity for a country like India. I'll still remember this speech delivered by late Sushmas Speech. India was invited to this meeting of Organization of Islamic Cooperation, and Pakistan was not happy with this invitation at all. But she talked about humanity, she talked about so many interesting things. She presented India, that what India is all about, and UAE and other countries, they want to work with India, and followed by UAE. Saudi Arabia is also interested in working with India. The problem with Pakistan is Pakistan has invested all its, or it has kept all its eggs in one basket, and that is China. If China will throw Pakistan away, then Pakistan will have no good friend at all. If you compare Pakistan's strategy with ours, then we have good friends everywhere. We have UAE, a very good friend of our country, and taking inspiration from UAE, now Saudi Arabia is also interested in enhancing relationship with India. They want to do more business with us. And in today's world, of course, religion is an important thing for your society, but it is never at the front seat when it comes to geopolitics. It is economic or trade and investment. They are the most important thing. Religion important, but maybe at second place, maybe third place, or maybe last bench. Right? It all depends, but never the first bench, because at first bench it is trade and investment. And India is a country that can promise good return of investment to countries like Saudi Arabia and UAE. They have huge amount of money. They want to invest it somewhere. So we are the ones who can do it. For that, we have to be a bit fast. We have to be a bit quick in delivering things. If we can do that thing, then this region is ours. And that's everything in today's discussion. These are a few news items. I want you guys to download the PDF and go through it. This is a very important news item, so I want you guys to go through some important lines that you can see on your screen. I'll see you soon with daily financial news analysis. Till then, enjoy your studies. God bless you all. Jai Hind.